study has shown that in thin people who actually gain excess harmful visceral fat, one of the first places they gain it is in their tongue.
I wanted to ask you about snoring and its link to visceral fat.
Right. Okay. So snoring, is often due to the excess tissue in the back of our throat. So we call that sleep apnea sometimes, people who are overweight or obese will often be snoring and they don't get a good night's sleep and they're tired all the time. They do the sleep study and then their doctor says, oh, you've got sleep apnea. And sometimes do a surgery to cut out some of the extra tissue in your, that is one medical thing that happens. But guess what? A study has shown that in thin people who actually gain excess harmful visceral fat, one of the first places they gain it is in their tongue. And the reason they gain visceral fat in their tongue, which might be a surprise, is that the tongue is actually made of three parts. A lot of people don't know this. Mm-hmm. The tip of the tongue, the front of the tongue, first part, is like an acrobat, Cirque du Soleil. It can do all kinds of magic tricks. The middle of the tongue is really strong. It moves food from the left to the right, so it can be chewed up. And the back of the tongue is like a beanbag. It allows food to slide down to your throat after you've chewed it. And the back of that tongue, that beanbag part, is 1/3 of it is made out of visceral fat. Normally, it's a fatty tongue. Okay. And so that's where visceral fat naturally grows in your tongue. When you start gaining extra visceral fat, that's one of the first places it starts to grow in the back of the tongue, because it's already 1/3 visceral fat. And now that visceral fat starts to grow. So what's a consequence and what's a connection to snoring? Mm-hmm. Well, one of the first tip-offs that a slender person might be accumulating dangerous extra body fat that you cannot see in the mirror is because their bed partner goes, hey, honey, do you know that you've been snoring? Now, why would that be caused by, and they're like, oh, yeah, I know. Well, have you checked out your weight? Yeah, I'm gaining a little weight too. And here's what's happening. When you're sleeping, your whole body's relaxed, okay? And your tongue is also relaxed. Mm-hmm. When your fat tongue is relaxed, it slides down the back and it blocks your airways. So you start snoring. You wake up as well. So this is one of the early telltale signs of people that are gaining excess visceral harmful body fat is when they actually start snoring, when they didn't snore before. Now, by the same token, when you actually work on lowering extra body fat, you can also skinny up your tongue back to normal size.
Okay. That's a hot tip, because that's your kind of like your first indicator, like,
early warning sign.
Yeah, for sure. And those are important for a lot of reasons.